Hello everyone, I am Harshika Narula from grade 8A, the Lexicon International School, Kalyani Nagar. So today I have made a very interesting project on spam mail detection. So we all know how whenever we go in on our Gmail, we have some mails which are important and the others which are useless and they might be spam or fraud, which will lead us into trouble. So using this detection, we will be able to see which mails are of use and which are of not, so that we can delete the mails which are not needed. So in this project, we will be predicting it and then seeing how accurate we got the data. So I have this data set, we can say, which has category and message. So it is for this is like the data that I will feed to the AI to get the output. So first there is category which has ham and spam. So ham is the important one which is needed and spam is the unwanted ones. So you can read the message and understand why they're unwanted and which one are ham and so on. So let us start the code. First we have from google.colab import files. I'm using Colab from Google Drive. That is why we will write these lines and then upload it is equal to files.upload. Files.upload is to get a pop-up to upload a file. You will go to so here we have the mail data.csv. Now we will import all the things we will be needing in this project, which are pandas, numpy, seaborn, and so on. And then we will read the file using pandas. So I have used as PD, so it is like a short form that I have given to pandas so that I don't have to write pandas every time as the full name. You can write the shortcut as anything, and df is equal to pd.read underscore csv. This is a CSV file as we saw over here, mail underscore data.csv. Next, now the first thing we have to do whenever we are making a project is to understand and analyze the project, and then we will clean the project and then we will make use of it. So first we will analyze the data we have. So using info and shape. So here we have info. There are two columns, both are object. Object means it has a proper word. There are three types: object, integer, and float. And then message. So both have 572 values and the total, and then the shape. The shape shows how many columns and rows are there. So there are 5572 columns. So now we don't have to clean the data, as we can already see that none of the data are missing or miscalculated. So we can directly go on working with the data. Now we will first, now in this project we will apply Lambda. Now what we have to do is, now we all know that we cannot work on the data if it is an object. If it is an object, the computer can't understand the language of, for example, let's take the first four words, go until Jurong point. So how will the computer know what this means? As we know, it only understands binary. So we will convert the category, which is ham and spam, into 0 and 1. So we will make a new column which will have 1 for spam and 0 for ham. So to do that, we will do df, and we are making a new column, is equal to df category. This category column we already have, dot apply lambda x colon 1 if x is equal to spam, else 0. So this line basically means is that if x, which is the variable that we are getting from category, is 1, then x is equal to spam. So spam will be 1, else 0. So you can see else is 0. And then I've done a head count to see the first 5, you can say first 5 columns. Next, now if you want to give, if I've given all the data to the AI or to the program that we are making, how will I know if it is working or not? If I give all 100% of my data, will I have any data left to check if it is telling me the correct answer or not? I cannot directly publish it or give out it until I've checked it. So for that, we will split the data. We split the data using sklearn. So first we have to import sklearn.model underscore selection. From that we will import train underscore test underscore split. So now we will divide it into four parts: xtrain, ytrain, xtrain, xtest, ytrain, and ytest. So these four is equal to train underscore test underscore split. And now what are x and y? So x is basically the independent variable. Now what are independent variable? Independent variables are the variables that are just there and we need these variables. We cannot understand these variables from some other source. Whereas dependent variables are the variables we are trying to predict. So for example, in a housing price detection, I had told how from using different sources, like if how many bedrooms it has, what is the view, from that we will understand what is the price. So price is dependent and the others are independent. So similarly over here, spam will be dependent, which is y, and x will be message, which is independent. Then I have given the argument first, which is nothing but the data, and then test.size. Now now in train and test, in test I need to give, in train I will give 0.3 of the total data and the rest in xtest. And then there is random underscore state. Now random underscore state, basically every time you open the code, it will, if it puts different data every time, you will get a different output every time. Like for example, when it is splitting, it splits in random basis. So if it gives different data, like for example, the first time you have run, it gives 1, 2 and 4 in xtrain, and 2, 5 and 6, and 1, 2 and 4, 3, 5 and 8 in xtest. But the second time you open the data, it gives you 5, 8, 7 in train and 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 2 in test, extra underscore test. Then you will get a different output both the times. That is why when we give random underscore state, it gives the same data. Like if I change the random underscore state, it will change all the data, all the outputs I'm going to get ahead. So that is why it is important to give random underscore state. And then I've printed everything to see the shape. So all of these only have columns. All of these only have rows and no columns. And then I've written some notes on frequency distribution. So what is frequency distribution? It is basically a way in which we can organize data to see like what the frequency of it is. So using that we can understand the patterns. So we can understand that which of these usually happen and which do not. Now why do we use these? We use these to convert a set of text to a frequency distribution matrix. What is a frequency distribution matrix? Frequency distribution matrix is basically like when in a matrix we put what is most frequent and what is the least frequent. So this was frequency distribution, and now we have counter vectorization method. So tokenized words like the words like the. Now the is a word that appears so many times in the data, because I'll show you the Excel sheet once. You can see 2. 2 is here. 2 is again here. 2 is here. 2 is again here. So these words are in our data too many times, like many times. So we understand that the frequency is higher. And what is it does is, okay, if somewhere I've written T capital O, so it will first put everything into lowercase and then it will use it. And if I have given some punctuation, like after hi, I've given exclamation, so it will ignore it so that the words are not treated differently, or else what will happen is the computer will get confused what this punctuation means. Now we have the text underscore document matrix. So it basically represents the frequency of words. Each row in the matrix represents a unique phrase. So this is the text underscore document matrix helps us to understand the rare data, we can say. Like for example, somewhere it is written AVHS or some name like Will. We had seen there was a name over here. Or Sunday. Sunday might be common, but Will. Now this is a word which is not commonly used, like today, tomorrow, to, the. It's not commonly used. So it will put it in the text underscore document matrix, so we can understand it and see what is to be done with this data. So basically, the data that cannot be processed into 0 and 1. Now we have counter vectorizer. So now I've made a object of the counter vectorizer, and then I've printed it to see if it worked, and it worked because we can see now here. I will just keep on printing everything so that we can see the outputs. So now training underscore data, I took a new variable is equal to CV, which is the counter vectorizer dot fit underscore transform. Now what is fit underscore transform? Fit underscore transform is basically when we take a bag of words and we fit it into the data, and we understand the words using dot fit, and using underscore transform we transform it into a array. So now you can see cv dot fit underscore transform in bracket x underscore train dot to array bracket, and then print training data. So the same we did with testing data. We used dot fit underscore transform, but in testing data we do not need to fit the data, we do not need to use the data, because the testing data is to be kept, and later we will like compare it with the prediction that we will get. So training data is to be fit in the program, and testing data is not to be fit. Next we have used frequency matrix is equal to pd dot data frame. So we've used frequency matrix. So we have given training underscore data columns equal to cv dot get underscore features underscore names underscore out. So this is nothing but a function to get all the names. So you can see over here, these are different words that we have gotten and the frequency, how many times they came. Next, we have used logistic regression. Now, now you'll have to import logistic regression on the top. So here you will write from sklearn.linear underscore model import logistic regression. And then we have logistic regression random state is equal to 28. The random state that I had given you, the random state that you have given can be anything. It can be 0, 1, it can be 200, it can be 4000, it can be anything. But it is better to use smaller numbers so that later on when you use it, like I've used it over here, it is easier to remember and use. If you suppose put 10,000, you might confuse it over here and write 100. So that will give an error. And then dot fit. So I fit the logistic regression into the training underscore data, comma y train. And then I've predicted the data that will come in testing data. And then I've seen using confusion matrix, accuracy, precision, recall, and F1, that what is like the y test and the y prediction, what is the difference between it? Is it too high? Is it too less? So we got a result which is the confusion matrix is basically, now I will explain what a confusion matrix is later. First I will tell you what is accuracy, precision, recall, and F1. So these are all the four. You'll have to import these first. So from sklearn.matrix, import confusion matrix, accuracy underscore score, precision underscore score, and so on. So you can see the accuracy is 0.98. It is good, but it is not a full 100%. That means there is a chance of getting mixed up. Because what basically we did in this is that, for example, the data saw that 0. If it is written pay, then it is a spam. But it might be that somebody is writing. For example, I'm writing to my sister that pay me 300 rupees. Or I'm writing to a friend, you owe me 5,000 rupees. So then if the computer or the spam mail detection program puts it into spam, then it will not be right, because then I will not get the important data and the message that I needed, because it is important. And then there is precision. Precision is same as accuracy. It is barely different. And then there's recall, F1 score. So now what is confusion matrix? Confusion matrix is basically true positive, true negative, false positive, and false negative. So it basically helps us to understand that true positive means that the spam was 1 and we also got the answer as 1. False negative is that it was not a spam, it was 0, and we also got the answer as 0. So these two are, this is true positive and this is false negative. And then there is the true, and then there's true negative, that the answer was true, the predicted answer was true, but actually it was false, so that we got wrong. And then there is that the answer was the answer we got was false, but it was actually true, so false positive. So that is 24. So that means we got these many wrong when we predicted the data for the test underscore y. So this was my code. This was basically to predict. And now we saw what the accuracy score was. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And I've also posted such similar videos like housing price prediction and many more like these. Don't forget to subscribe to stay in tune. Thank you and enjoy coding.